Welcome back. Today we're going to put this in this and get ready to develop some film. Welcome to the Naked Photographer, where I'll be exposing myself. No, I won't. That sounded better in my head. Alright, so I'm going to put the roll of film on my reel, put it in my tank, and be ready to develop some film. So let's turn out the lights and get this done. All right, so I'm gonna open up the back of the film, pull it out of the tank, let's clip it off. All right, get that thing rolled up on the reel. All right, trim it off, put it in the tank, lid, and let's hit those lights. All right, so loaded up, ready to go. What? Yeah, I know you couldn't see what I was doing. It had to be pitch black. Otherwise I'd ruin the film. Well, I can't put it in here with the lights on. That's just not how it's done. It's got to be dark. Like, can't see your hand in front of your face dark. If I have the lights on, I'm just going to ruin the film. I know you can't see what I'm doing. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Alright. Look, I'll ruin some film. I'll do it in a light so you can see what I'm doing. Just understand that when you do it on your own, you have to do it in pitch black. No light, no safe light, nothing. Pure black. Now there are some little tints you can get to put your hands in there and do it just by feel. That's fine. Just make sure you get a good one. Doesn't have any holes in it. The fabric's not ripped. Nothing like that. Otherwise, find yourself a very dark space and do it in. If you don't have a dark room and you're doing this in your bathroom, your kitchen, anything like that, find a closet that you can like hang a blanket over the door on the inside and make it absolutely black. You don't want to see anything. And then you can do this, okay? Some of the things, I'm going to show you every single tank that you can do out there. Well, not every single one that I showed you in the last video. How to load the film into each one. But understand some of those, particularly the sheet film, you can't turn the lights on at any point. See, this has a nice little lid right here to keep the light out. If I show you inside there, see, there's a little thing that stops the light from getting in, but liquid can still get in and out. That's what we want. This little cap has nothing to do with the light, but it does keep the liquid in. Some of the sheet film methods, like that big white tray I showed you, there's no lid. So you're going to take the film out and you're going to have to process with the lights out completely. Here I can at least develop while the lights are on. I just have to load it in the dark. But the sheet film, you're going to have to do it in the dark, start to finish. Sorry about that. Sorry. I don't make the rules. So let's show you how to develop some film. Well, let's at least start with putting it on the reel. So take the lid off. And put that aside for now. There are a lot of different manufacturers of these reels. The one you want is a company called Hewes, H-E-W-E-S. It's out of Britain. All the other ones, skip them. I know they're cheaper. I know these are expensive. I want to say this is probably somewhere around $30. But there is a reason why this one is expensive. It's good. Understand, you only have to buy it once. You don't have to go out there and buy one every time you develop film. You just buy it one time. It is a little bit of an investment. You can buy a cheap tank. That's okay. They're all the same size. but make sure you get a good reel. It will save so much time and frustration in trying to load it, less ruined film, and it's just a lot sturdier. It also has a very particular way of attaching the film in the middle. You're not going to get that with a cheap reel. So make sure you get a Hughes. It's well worth the expense. Alright, first thing you're going to do is get yourself a bottle opener, and you're going to open the tank from the bottom side. That's the flat side. Okay, nothing here as opposed to the top where this comes out. You're also going to need a pair of scissors. Alright, so first thing you want to do is orient the reel to yourself. Now I'm left-handed, so I'm going to hold the reel in my right hand. You may want to do it the opposite if you're right-handed. It's perfectly okay. The important thing is this little thing right in the middle, this plate. Now, as I said, Hughes is the only one that has this particular style. You'll find some of the cheaper ones have like just a little spring clip. I don't find them to be all that useful. Hughes though has this. It's a way to orient and hold the film still as you're loading it. So you'll notice it's a little flat plate and it's got these two little prongs. What you want to do is hold this in your holding hand. So if you're right-handed, you'll hold this in your left hand. I'm the opposite. I'm left-handed. Going to put it over here. I want the plate to face my left hand, and I want these little prongs on the edge to face upward. So I'm going to orient it like this. Prongs are pointing up. Plate is facing my left hand. You need to get the film out of here. Do that with a bottle opener. Just pop that right open. Set that aside. You can actually get rid of that. We're done with that. Push this out. And understand, you're going to have to feel this. You can't see what you're doing. You're just going to do all of this by feel. So we're going to trim that off. You can discard that. And now, try to avoid touching the inside of the roll of film as much as possible. It's okay if you touch the outside. This is just plastic, but the inside is the emulsion. You want to keep your fingerprints off that as well, as much as possible. So, prongs are pointing upward, plate facing the left hand. Take the film and put it straight down in the middle behind those prongs. Let's see if you can see what that looks like. Okay, and then fold it over. Squeeze this just a little bit, and what will happen is those two little fingers have now poked through two little sprockets. So they are holding the film in place. And what I'm going to do is just gently squeeze this, not enough to create a dimple and anything like that, just keep it curled a little. And I'm going to roll this with my hand and just allow the film to slide through my fingers. Okay, just letting it slide through, loading it up. And if you need to, you can use this finger, just lightly touching the back of this with my knuckle, to feel if it gets out of place. If it starts to jump from one track to the next, it'll create a hump that you can feel with your finger. What that will end up causing is the back side of one part of the spiral will touch the emulsion on the next spiral around, and where they touch, the developer can't get in there, and you'll have a dead spot in your film. You don't want that at all. So I'm just going to take this all the way through, get to the end, almost there. And there we are at the end. Okay, take your scissors cut that off. Put this in your tank and cover with the lid. Make sure it's sealed nice and tight. That's it. So that one is loaded. Now if you were using a taller tank, such as the double tank, this size, see this is a single tank, it can hold 1 reel, this one can hold 2. If this is the only one that you purchase, then put your loaded reel on the bottom, assuming you've only shot one roll of film, and then put your empty reel on top. That way your liquid level, if you're not completely full, will still have the film submerged. Now, if what you have purchased is a plastic tank instead of the metal, some of these same things are going to apply, and some will be a little different. So let's get the plastic reel, and that goes with the plastic tank. And you have 2 reels to work with. Now you have to do this again in the dark. So take one of your reels, you'll see these 2 large blocks here, and you'll notice they move. That's exactly what we want. So check and see which way the spirals go. In this case, I'm going to feed the film down into this area first. So put it into the slot like that, and then you just twist. Now I'm holding with this thumb, twist forward, holding with this thumb and letting go of this one, twist forward again. So twist, 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 twist. And it just feeds itself right on. And there you are. Take your tank. There should be a core inside. Push the reel onto the core, put your empty one on top. If it comes with a little clip to keep them from moving around, put that on. Put these in your tank with the base of the core down. And then the lid should screw right on. The red lid is to fill and pour out the liquid, but it is daylight safe. So if you don't even have this, you're fine. This screw-on lid is what keeps the light out. If what you have is a Kodak tank, such as this is called a Kodacraft roll film tank, it does not come with a cap on top. So this one is actually light safe, but it's not liquid safe. We'll go over that in the next video when we go over agitation for film. For this one, however, there are no spiral reels. What we use instead is a film apron. So it looks like a plastic lasagna noodle. And the way this is loaded is you take your film, and this is now inside out. Don't worry about that, it's still a roll. You take them together, and you actually want to start from the middle. And you just roll them up together. As easy as that sounds, it's not. Because this plastic really likes to be spiraled around itself. So doing this in the dark, not the easiest prospect. However, the little ridges keep the film from sticking to the plastic roll itself, as well as to the film. There we go, like that. So now you have the film and the apron rolled together. You drop down on the bottom. Then there should have come with it a metal plate. You put that on top, and then your second apron. If you don't have another roll of film, put the empty apron on top. That keeps everything from sloshing around. Put your lid on, and that is now loaded. Alright, if we're talking about 1/20 size film, medium format, first thing you want to do, break the seal on the film, and we're going to put it into a much wider roll. There are a couple of different kinds, just like with a Hughes reel. This particular one is made in Germany. No idea what brand it is. Soligar maybe? Don't really know. Kinderman maybe. There's a K on it. It's got this big spring right in the middle. There are other kinds. Some of the other brands have a small spring such as this. Really, it doesn't matter because you can ignore the spring altogether with a medium format. I don't particularly find them useful. So, break the seal on the paper, find the edge of the film, and put it in the spiral. So if you're using this kind, you may want to just slip it under the spring. If you're using this kind, you can slip it under the spring if you want to. I tend to just dismiss it altogether and just put it right in the center, and then I just hold the edge of the film with my two fingers. And from there, you just want to start rolling it around, keeping it as flat as possible. So again, like before, I'm pulling the reel back and I'm just letting the film slide through these fingers and my thumb, just letting the spiral itself pull the film onto the roll. When you get to the end, there's that piece of tape. You can cut it off, but it's just masking tape. Just pull that off, get rid of that. Keep the little spool. You'll need to use that for your next roll of film. The camera always accepts an empty spool for the film to roll onto. Take this, drop it in your tank, put the lid, and you're good to go. If you are doing 2 rolls of film, load the other one and put it into a double tank. It'll be just fine. So holds 2 rolls. For the plastic tanks, these reels expand. You just turn them like you would to load it, turn a little further, it clicks, and then you can open it up and twist it back together. Now it's a wider roll. And you simply start the end of the film into the reel. And then just like the 35 millimeter, you twist. Until it's loaded. Put the core back through the tank. If you have that little clip, which I seem to have misplaced, here it is. Put that on there. That just keeps the reel from sliding up and down. Drop that in the tank and attach the lid. If sheet film is what you're using, get a tray, drop it in, done. If you're using sheet film and a big tank of racks, take one out, open the end. It's on a hinge. Just roll it over. It's a little stiff like this one. You have to force it a little bit. Take the film and simply slide it in the groove. And then you want to fold this back over. Like that. And drop it in the tank. Then load each extra one up after that. Sheet film can also be loaded onto a reel spiral, just like roll film. So to do that, take off the little plates on the end. This will hold up to 6 sheets of film. You'll want to take the film and very carefully, with the emulsion side towards the center, you'll want to just slip it in. Push it all the way down, load all 3 sides on one side, and then turn it over and 3 on the other. If you only have 2, I suggest you do symmetrical, so one on one side, one on the other. Then take these little paddles and they cover the end where the film goes. There's these little tabs, hard to see here. Little tab on the end and 2 little tabs here. The one in the center fits into a notch on this paddle. Just pop it in, roll it over, and do the same. Remember, you have to do this in complete darkness. This should have a core, just like the other plastic tank. Make sure it's in there all the way. Put it in the tank, lid, and then seal. If what you have is one of these large Jobo professional tanks, very simple. Take the film, curve it. There's a groove, or rather a kind of a tab on 2 sides. Slide it down till it's flush with the top. Put additional film in there as needed. Depending on your tank, it can hold 1 to 2 pieces per cylinder. Put the lid on, it's ready to go. Alright, so that should give you a pretty good idea of how to put your film in your tank so that you can start to develop your film. There are a few other tanks out there that I didn't cover. Mostly it's because, hey, I just don't own them. So for the most part though, this should cover just about anything you can come across with only slight variations. There are different plastic tanks out there, different brands, but they load all pretty much the same. There are new aprons out there that are made of white Teflon, but they load the same. Spirals all load the same. Large tanks all load the same. Just make sure that you have a lid that's light tight, or in the case of something like this, you have a space to process that is completely dark. Remember, you cannot load your film. You cannot open the container. You cannot put it on the reel or in the tank with the lights on. Even a safe light. Safe light is for paper. It is not for film. You don't want to ruin your film thinking that you can load it under that red or orange light. That is only in Hollywood. In real life, film is sensitive to all colors, even black and white. It's sensitive to all colors of light. Red, orange, yellow, blue, green. There is no safe light for it. Some people do use, I will admit, some people do use an infrared light and an infrared scope that they can wear on their head and watch what they're doing. Film is not sensitive to infrared. But bear in mind, you have to have a true infrared safe light to do that. It will emit only infrared. It is not visible to the naked eye. So to you, it will seem like it's a pitch black room, but the scope can see it. So that is an option. I don't have one of those. I don't use one of those, but they're out there. They're very expensive. Quite frankly, there's really no reason not to just do it in the dark. See what you're doing. Just feel what you're doing. If you have questions, I'm always happy to answer them. You can contact me through YouTube, and I'll be more than happy to answer there. Or leave a question in the comments, and I'll get to you as soon as I can. As always, thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And we'll see you on the next Naked Photographer.